Hello, my dear students. Today we are going to discuss on some questions on titrations. These are called Viva. There is a section known as Viva in the practical examination. Totally, we have to perform 3 practicals. As I told during my demo titration or demo practical, the first one is what? Titration, and the second one is salt analysis, and the third one is content based experiment. And on all these three, external examiner asks some questions. They are called as what? Oral questions, or it is also called as what? Viva. It is like a to make you ready for an interview in future. Okay, how you face interview. So keeping that in the mind, or in future, what all interviews you are going to face. So CBSE has designed and developed a small curriculum known as Viva. Some selected questions are asked based on practical knowledge. Okay. So let us discuss today some questions on volumetric analysis in general and titration in particular. Okay, right. So for every Viva question, answer is there. So we are justifying this answer is the correct choice for that question. Okay, right. So once again, I welcome you all for today's session on Viva on practical chemistry practical, especially what titrations. Okay, right. What is a standard solution? A solution whose strength is known is called a standard solution. You have prepared, I told I have prepared 0.1 m oxalic acid, or I have prepared 0.2 m more salt. That means I have fixed the molarity, strength. Okay, so keeping in the mind strength, when we weigh and prepare, that solution is called as what? Standard solution, which is prepared in a special apparatus known as standard flask that I showed during our practical demo. Okay, right. Next, what volume of 10 mCl must be diluted with water to get 1 liter of 1 mCl? It was 10 m. Now we are converting to what? 1 m. So 10 m to 1 m is was by 10. 10 m by 10 gives 1 m. When I am dividing 10 by 10 at the same time, I have to divide 1 by 10. So that gives you 1 by 10 equal to 0.1 liter. So 0.1 liter volume of 10 mSCl must be diluted with water to get 1 liter of 1 mCl. Okay, this is done by the classical method. You can do it by the formula method also. That is, molarity is equal to what? Number of moles divided by the volume in liters. Okay, so by cross multiplication, you can calculate the volume also. Okay, right. What is the basicity of sulfuric acid? Basicity means what? Number of replaceable hydrogen atoms in an acid. How many hydrogen it can donate? According to the Arrhenius theory, hydrogen donor is an acid. Okay, so therefore sulfuric acid contains 2 hydrogen atoms, and these 2 are replaceable. If you see the structure of sulfuric acid, these 2 H are there along with O. So it is an example for oxy acid, and those 2 H can be easily replaced whenever we need, whenever situation demand is there. Okay, that time sulfuric acid donates its 2 hydrogen atoms. That is called what? Its basicity. Okay, so the basicity of sulfuric acid is what? 2. What is the principle of volumetric analysis? In volumetric analysis, the concentration of a solution is determined by allowing a known volume of the solution to react quantitatively with another solution of known concentration. So here two volumes are reacting. Okay, so one we take in the burette, other we take in the pipette. It is volume versus volume, and we analyze, we estimate, we calculate. So all these comes under what? Volumetric analysis, and this is the basic principle involved in the volumetric analysis. What is titration? The process of adding one solution from the burette to another in the conical flask in order to complete the chemical reaction involved is known as titration. Titration in a simple sense is nothing but what? Reaction between the two. Whether one is acid, one is base, or one is oxidant, other one is reductant. It is a reaction between the two chemicals. Only difference is what? In the normal class, in the lower class, we do some practicals in the laboratory. There we don't concentrate on the what? Calculation part, or the volume part, or the quantity part. Okay, but here in the titration, volume of one liquid is known and the volume of the other liquid is also known. So both volumes are known here. So using the volume knowledge and using the molarity of the other one we are calculating. So here titration means it is the reaction between the two chemicals. Keep in mind measurements. Okay, right. What is indicator? This is a we learnt in the 10th class or in the 7th class where we have learnt under the chapter acids, bases and the salts. Okay, acids and the bases are what distinguished from a simple method known as indicator method. So there are some indicators. They show some color in the acidic medium or in the basic medium. Okay, so depend upon the type of the depend upon what acid or the base, it gives color. So depend upon the color, we can say this is an acid and this is a base. Best example, simple example is what? Litmus. So in the acid, the color of the litmus is what? Red, whereas in the base, the color of the litmus is what? Blue. So base changes the red to blue, whereas acid changes the blue to red. So indicator is a chemical whose color is known either in the acid or in the base. It gives indication. Indicator is an indication that reaction is over by the color change. Okay, that is called what? Chemical which gives color indication, and they are called what? Indicators. Many indicators you have learned: methyl orange, phenolphthalein, litmus, okay, KMnO4. So all these are examples for indicators. What is end point? End point is nothing but completion of the reaction. When A is reacting with B, when the reaction completes, in the presence of indicator, it will show some color change. That is the reaction over, reaction completed. So end point is nothing but it is the indication that reaction is completed. That time we will note down the readings, then we will go ahead as per the procedure. Okay, right. Burette and pipette must be rinsed with the solution with which they are filled. Why? So whenever I was doing practical, so I rinsed the burette with KMnO4 and I rinsed the pipette with the other one. Purpose is, by chance, if any other content is there inside the, we wash. So we wash, even after the washing also, we wash burette, we wash pipette. So even after the washing, both apparatus, what we do? So to remove the color, sorry, to remove the water content of the uh, inside of the burette or inside of the pipette, or by chance any small impurities which cannot be removed by just washing with water. So to do these two works, we rinse with water, chemical what we are using for the practical, so that the inside layer, inside wall of the burette or the pipette, so they are coated with water, that chemical, and by chance any other chemical is there, that is removed. Okay, so for this purpose we have to rinse burette as well as pipette. It is customary to read lower viscous in case of colorless and transparent solutions, and it is customary to read lower viscous in case of colorless and transparent solutions. and upper meniscus in case of highly colored solutions. Why? Here meniscus means what? Meniscus means lower level. Level it is a level, whether it is a lower level or the upper level. So that is called meniscus. Okay. See, in case of colorless or transparent, we can see the lower layer very clearly. That's why the lower layer where it is touching the mark on the grit or the pipette. So that is noted. It is easy to read. Whereas in the case of dark color or colored, so what the lower meniscus or the lower level is not clear. It's not readable. That time we go for the upper meniscus. Okay. So because of reading purpose, okay, we do this technique in the laboratory. What is a molar solution? It's very easy. 1 m, 1 mole in 1 liter of its solution. Very simple. So not a problem at all. Why the last drop of solution must not be blown out of a pipette? Since the drops left in the jet ends is extra of the volume measured by the pipette. I told you, whenever I was taking liquid through the pipette, I was sucking. That time, when I transferred whatever content was there inside the pipette into the conical flask, that time, by chance, any half a drop or a one drop left at the bottom of at the tip of the pipette, kindly don't blow, because that small tip is, the tip volume is excluded from the correct measurement. So 10 ml pipette shot, it is 10 ml, and that is extra at the bottom. Therefore, even if you lose 1 or 1.5 or 2 drops, it's not a problem at all. So let's not blow. Otherwise, that extra drop will come to the conical flask and extra consumption of the burette chemical. So that all will happen. So it is as a precautionary measure, we don't blow whatever left at the bottom of the pipette. What is the indicator used in KMNO4 titration? Because KMNO4 has got a very beautiful color, purple color. So we don't require any additional indicator. So therefore, KMNO4 is a self indicator. Okay, right. Why does KMNO4 act itself as an indicator? Because of its intense purple color. As long as it is reacting, its color will change. Once the reaction completes, that the pink color or the purple color of the KMNO4 remain. The reaction is over, no. The reaction is over, that color will remain in the flask, and that will give the indication. That is the end point. So therefore, what? It is used as a self indicator. What is the end point in KMNO4? What is the color of KMNO4? Purple or the pink? When it reacts, it color disappears. When the reaction completes, color remains. So what is the end point? End point is colorless to the pink. Why should we heat the oxalic acid solution to about 60 to 70 degrees centigrade before titrating with KMNO4 solution? Here, KMNO4 converts into Mn2 plus MnSO4. Okay, so it is very slow under the normal condition or in cold condition. So to speed up the reaction, sometimes in the chemical kinetics we have learned, to increase the rate of reaction, there are some factors. So in that, one factor is what? Temperature or the heat. Okay. So therefore, when we increase the temperature, when we heat the solution, that time in the hot condition, in the warm condition, so formation of the Mn2 plus in the form of MnSO4 is very fast, and we can save time also. That's why we go for heating. What are the different types of titration? Here are the different types of titration: iodometric, permanganate, complexometric, precipitation, acid base, redox. Acid base redox we are doing. Acid base in the 11th class, redox in the 12th class. But these four we learn in the higher class. Okay, right. Now this is regarding the iodometric titration. The iodometric titration is a general method to determine the concentration of an oxidizing agent in solution. In an iodometric titration, a starch solution is used as an indicator since it can absorb iodine I2 that is released. So, in iodometric titration, iodine is released. To absorb that, we use an indicator known as what? Starch. Okay. So, appearance of the blue color is the end point. This all we learn in the higher class. Okay, just have an idea. This is not asked, but for your additional information, I am discussing with you all. Okay, right. Now this is regarding the permanganate titration. Whenever we go for titration, where permanganate is one of the reactants, then that reactant, that titration is called as what? Permanganate titration. So there are variety of titration. Okay. So but K2Cl2O7 is there, KMnO4 is there. Okay. But where we use KMnO4, out of two, one should be the KMnO4. Those are classified under the permanganate titrations. Complexometric titration is a form of volumetric analysis in which the formation of a colored complex is used to indicate the end point of a titration. Complexometric titrations are particularly useful for the determination of a mixture of different metal ions in solution. So there is one chapter in the 12th class known as what? Complexes. Okay. So there variety of complexes or coordination compounds are formed with variety of colors, different colors, especially with D block elements. Therefore, sometimes when we go for the complex formation with a special color, they are termed as what? Complexometric titration. All these we learn as in the BSc or MSc, just as an additional information. Now, precipitation titration is a type of titration which involves the formation of precipitate during the titration technique. In precipitation titration, the titrant reacts with the analyte and forms an insoluble substance called precipitate. It continues till the last amount of analyte is consumed. That means when A is reacting with B, we have seen color change, but in the precipitation reaction, precipitate forms, okay, with a special color, right? How we what we learnt in the complex, here also, any type of precipitate forms with the color, whether it is a white curdy or any colorful precipitation, that is the end point. Okay, right. Why is dilute sulfuric acid suitable for permanganate titration? KMnO4 acts as a good oxidizing agent in acidic medium. Okay, if acid is not used, KMnO4 may be oxidized to MnO2, giving a brown precipitate. So here KMnO4 converts into what? K2SO4 and MnSO4. Okay, so to do this one, it will perform its role in the acidic medium. Otherwise, if you carry out without an acid, that time instead of MnS4, it is MnO2 forms. So which is a brown precipitate which will hinder our titration. So it becomes an obstacle for our titration. Therefore, to avoid all these practical problems, we use what? We carry out permanganate reactions in the acidic medium. So I think this we have learnt in the D block chapter of 12th class, where preparation, property, uses of potassium permanganate and potassium dichromate theory part we have learnt. Okay, right. What is the formula for more salt? More salt is a double salt. So there are some double salt, there are some complex salts. Okay, double salt is a combination of the two salts. One best example we learnt in the lower class water, potash alum, K2SO4, Al2SO4 thrice, and 24H2O. Okay, so it is potassium aluminum sulfate. In the same way, more salt is also an example for double salt. It is the combination of water, ammonium sulfate, iron sulfate, the six molecules of water as water of crystallization. So this complete formula is called water more salt. Okay, right. So NH for twice is 4, F is 4 into 6H2O. Okay, my dear students, today we discussed some selected questions under the topic Viva. So Viva depends upon the examiner what type of questions we will frame. Okay, so if we are thorough with our practical knowledge, certainly we can handle the Viva, and for Viva also some marks are there, and for even practical records also marks are there. So all together it is a 30 marks. This I think you have experienced in the 11th class. Okay, division of marks. So with this, let us conclude the Viva of the session, today's session. So in the days to come, let's see what can be done. Okay, till then, keep studying, and I wish you all the best. Okay, thank you, my dear students.